Hi everyone. Today we is gonna be reading Hoodie X Listener, and as you guys might know, Mother's Day is coming very, very soon. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make a video for Sunday or Saturday. I'm not sure. I don't remember which day it falls on, but I will try my best. Because I'm making my mom something a little special, and I kind of want to record that. It's like y'all find out. Don't worry. But let's get straight into it. Alright everyone, so it is in tape 17. Putting forward my emotions, I remained awake during the time Brian had left, heat blasting. It provoked me to fall back asleep, but I declined it. He wanted me awake, for a reason I was too tired to understand. Mumbling words to myself, I leaned my head against the cold window. Raising my head, my eyes observed the miniature shop. Groaning, I squint, seeing a few men standing idly by outside of the supply store. Turning my head away, my lanky body threatening to fall back asleep. As soon as my eyes closed, in frustration, I sat up completely. Fixing the wreck in my hair, I cleared my blocked throat, in dying need of water. I looked around the parked vehicle. He had nothing. Maybe that's why he's in the store. Damn it, Brian, I mumbled, feeling the scratchy mess of my white windpipe. Rubbing my eyes, I leaned over to the radio, attempting to read the blurred time. A few attempts of saying it back in my head, I realized I couldn't get it right. My poor perception was causing me to become vexed. I set my head backwards until it hit the seat. I waited. My patience running very low when he wouldn't return, so I began to count, not only to keep track, but also to keep me awake. Closing my eyes, I started. 1, 2, 3, 4. As the pattern kept going, my pulse began beating faster. I felt it in my wrist. My heart flickered, uneasiness taking over as I continued to count, apprehension taking over. Feeling so disquiet, I wasn't sure why. A part of me wanted to get up and enter the store. Another part of me told me to stay and wait. But what if he doesn't come back? My life would basically be saved. Debating the options in my head, I heard loud voices approach me. Those men were walking over here. Letting my fingers press down on the lock, it clicked, suggesting it was not locked. Although I kept my focus in front of me, so they wouldn't find me suspicious. I might just be overreacting, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. When those voices faded, I sighed in relief. Two palms emerged from the dark, leaning against the glass. Jumping and leaning away from it, a burst of a deep, loud, hearty laughter broke out. Breathing rather fast due to the sudden scare, I was both bewildered and frightened. When the hands rubbed away the fogginess of the window, his face showed. Drunk as he may seem, I was fairly fearful of him. Arms grabbed his shoulders, pulling him back. "That's not our car, David," someone said. "Are you sure? I thought I saw Ashley in there," he responded. "No, you just scared a random girl," they mumbled. He then burst out another obnoxious laugh. I calmly moved back to my seat, their voices turning into silence. I just want sleep. Hearing one knob of the driver's side of the car, I pivoted my head, assuming it was Brian, unlocking the car. With the plastic baggage in his hand, he sat down, sighing in frustration. "Here, take this, please," he said, handing me the bag. I looked through it, eyeing the delightful water he had got. I was so desperate for it. Reaching my hands in, I grabbed it. "I'm so thirsty right now. Jesus Christ," I cursed, twisting the cap off and putting it to my lips. "Yeah, you were out like a light," he said, backing up the car. The cold and numbingly cold water sliding down my throat, I hummed in satisfaction. "Don't drink too much at the same time. You're gonna end up having cramps," Brian warned, screwing the cap back on. I now felt wide awake. "Are we stopping at some place to sleep?" I asked. "Yeah, there should be a motel not too far from here. We can spend a night or two there." Nodding, I suddenly shared my excitement to sleep anywhere but a car. But that excitement was soon removed and nervousness pushed in. Interacting with actual people wasn't a problem for me. It was the constant worry of being found by those people basically hunting us down. I haven't been to a hotel in like years. Brian chuckled, one hand on the steering wheel and one hand slipping underneath the mask he wore, pulling it off. His hazel pigmented hair fluffed up. I chuckled. What? He asked with a smile. You have a major bedhead right now. I desperately need a shower, he mumbles. Holding my nose and waving my hand, I said, phew, yeah you do. Like you smell any better, he joked. I defensively put my hands up. Hey, at least I took baths at the old house. Like they did anything, he mumbled. I smacked his arm. Oh hey! He let out a genuine laugh, huffing out the chuckles afterwards. I'm just saying, baths are useless. I will never take a bath. You're basically bathing in your own filth. It's gross. He looks at me, giving me a look. It is. Oh my gosh. I look at him, giving him a look. It is. He defends. I shook my head. It's not, though. It's relaxing. I say, weird. He mutters, taking a turn. We arrived to the hotel. I can't wait to sleep on the bed. I stretched my arms out, groaning as my bones cracked from the tight, compacted space. Same. Brian opens his car door and I follow, still holding the bag in my hands. When we walked to the entrance, pulling the doors open, a woman stood smiling at us at the reception. Hi, yes, we didn't make a reservation, but we'd like a room. Do you have any space? Brian places his hands on the counter area. The woman types into the computer by her side. A few moments of clicking and she responded. We do. We have a room on the 3rd floor open. Great. We'd like to take that, please. Brian fishing into his pockets, the woman moved her mouse around. Names, please. Richard and McKenna. Brian interrupted me. I was about to say our real names. Why make them up? Not wanting to look confused, I nodded. She typed them in. How long would you like to stay? She asked. 3 nights. All right. Can I have your card number? Brian exchanges information with her as I wander in the lobby, glancing at the paintings hung up. They weren't very eye-catching, but I was bored. Sitting on one of the chairs, I grabbed one of the magazines laying opened on the desk. Flipping through it, Brian interrupted it. All right, let's go. Smiling, I got up and followed him. The long hallways seemed to go on forever. We reached to the elevator. Pressing the top button, we waited for it to open. When it did, we stepped inside. The bright lights from the ceiling hurt my eyes. I tried to keep my attention down, but Brian tapped my shoulder. You alright? He asked. Oh yeah, the lights hurt my eyes. Covering my eyes with my hands. You have sensitive eyes, he says. Maybe it's the lights. Your eyes might be... I paused, not sure which word to use to describe it. Not sensitive. Not sensitive, he asked, chuckling afterwards. You need to upgrade your vocabulary, he adds. The dinging of the elevator was quite loud. However, when the doors opened and we stepped out, I uncovered my eyes, and I followed him. Finally, we're here, he whispers. It is quite late at night. Being loud wouldn't be very appropriate. Shoving the card in the slot, the door unlocked and he pushed it open, allowing me to walk in first. Ooh. Tape 18. I don't think I've ever been in a hotel before, I confessed, sitting down on a neatly arranged bed. Really? He asked, slipping off his shoes and placing them near the door. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really travel for my work, so I didn't feel the need to ever get a hotel somewhere. Saying this struck a sense of humor. So, Richard, I started. Shut it. Brian squeaks. I begin to laugh. I did it for our own protection. He approaches the bed, sitting down next to me. I fell backwards, my arms over my head. You're gonna take your shower? I asked, wanting to be next to take a shower. Yeah, get yourself settled in. He pushes himself off the bed and walks off to wherever the shower was. A few minutes passed before I forced myself to get up. Wishing I had clothes other than the ones I was currently wearing, it was simply a long sleeve with jeans, but I really don't want to sleep in jeans. It's painful. Yeah, whoever sleeps with sleeps with jeans is a menace to society. But there's only one bed, so I can't take them off. The space was relatively big. A hallway leading to the bathroom, a TV set up in front of the bed, a small balcony beside it. It was a weird setup. Moving to the other side of the bed, I leaned upward so I was now on my tippy toes. Closing the curtains, they were basically transparent. Sighing in defeat, I snatched the remote from the shelf beneath the station. That's when I noticed the mini fridge. Curious, I opened it. I was tempted to take the tiny bottles of liquor from the shelf, but I wasn't sure. Closing the door, I laid back down on the bed and propped myself up against the backboard. With a click of a button, the screen turned on. I didn't know what was that, so I didn't know what was what, so I just changed channels until I found something that struck my interest. Yawning, I felt the urge to fall back asleep creep up on me again, groaning at the annoying lust for sleep. I got up, leaving the channel to a cooking show. Pushing the curtains out of my way, I slid the glass door and stepped outside, the twilight breeze flowing past me. The unwelcoming cold kept me awake. I leaned my arms against the railing, glancing down at the ground. Everything seemed so small from up here. Peering away from the distance between me and the ground, the worries inside me withered away, my hair moving slightly with the wind. I took in a deep breath, and after a few seconds of holding it in, I let it out. YN? I heard him call out. I'm on the balcony, I said. Jesus, it's like 5 degrees out there. Get in here. Rolling my eyes, I walked back into the room, pushing the door closed and locking it. I just wanted some fresh air, I muttered. Your turn for a shower, he says, his hair dripping water still. I raised an eyebrow. Did you even bother to dry yourself off? I asked. He looked at me, then stuck out his tongue. Aren't you like over 20 years old? I teased. He was acting like a child. Oh, hey, there's some extra clothes on the shelf besides the sink. Holding my hands above my head, I cheered, yes! Entering the bathroom, it was already filled with steam from Brian's shower. Grabbing the clothes he told me about, I hummed with joy. Thankfully, one of my options were sweatpants. My hands tightly gripped the wet knob and turned it. The water began to pour, stripping down. Stripping down, I emerged myself in the searing water, letting my skin get used to the temperature before moving around. Time skip. Stepping out, I seized a towel, wrapping it around my body, patting myself down to get dry, then putting my clothes back on when I felt as I was dry enough. Rubbing my hair against the towel in an attempt to get it dry. When my hands began to get tired, I stopped. Touching it, it was still pretty damp. Tucking my hair behind my ears, I stepped outside the bathroom, shutting off the light and approaching the bed. Brian had a tiny bottle in his hand, focusing on the TV. Give me some of that, I said. Crawling onto the bed to grab it, he leaned into me and I grabbed it, letting the bitter liquid flow down my throat. I guess I'll get my own then. He got up and opened the white mini fridge. He grabbed 3 more. You're not going to drink all 3, are you? I asked. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. You want to help me? He handed me another bottle. I leaned myself against the board and began to drink. The show that was playing didn't matter anyway. Brian and I had started our own conversation. No, you have to really experience it to be able to have an opinion on it, I said, waving the bottle between my fingers around. That's not true, he says, leaning into my gaze. Yeah, it is true. I'm way more experienced than you are. 100%. I took a sip from my drink, gulping the rest of it, placing it down next to the many empty bottles beside the bed. Wow, he huffs. You can't make that assumption, he adds. I can. I know you enough, I say back, placing my hands behind my head. You really don't. He chuckles. You know me? I questioned. He then hesitated. When he hesitated, I called him out. Didn't think so. Didn't think so, I sang. He placed down his drink, the intoxication of the alcoholic beverages taking over us. We know we weren't being loud, so we remained at the same volume. I really don't understand cooking. Brian mumbles. This is baking. I corrected him. Same thing, he whines. It's not. I chuckled. He then faced me, staring directly at me. When I stared back, he sits up. I copied him. We had taken our showers hours ago. Our hair had been dried out completely. The fringe of his hair from not being brushed. Mine was the same way. The tiredness left my body after the first two drinks. I wasn't usually the one to drink, but when you're stressed, you do anything to feel better. When Brian's hand traveled to my face, my partial attention to the television was gone. My full focus on him now. I could tell he was hesitating to either speak or do something. His lips brushed mine, delicately, just long enough that I could inhale his breath. Feeling the warmth of his lips against mine, the taste of liquor lingering after he had pulled away. Ooh! Ooh! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Tape 19. Oh, goodness. Oh, this is, ay, ay, ay. Well, I'm gonna try and read, but if it goes to, to the lemon parts, sadly, y'all should know I'm victorious for not reading it, so, but specifically telling you where it's at, so don't worry. Anyways, tape 19. By the way, this will contain making out, touching, removal of clothes, and whatever suggestions. Locking his lips onto mine, my hands held his face, my tongue slipping into his bottom lip. When he allowed me to kiss him deeper, his hands pulled me onto his lap, his fingers running up my shirt, my cheeks growing flushed, my hands affectionately moving to his hair. I tingled my fingers in it. He tightly gripped my hips, rubbing himself against me. Okay, I think this is okay. A pleasurable moan escaped my lips, his mouth going to my neck, biting and sucking at the sensitive pressure point. I held my noise by biting my bottom lip. By the way, this will be the only closest thing y'all will ever get to a lemon for a couple of years. Y'all best be grateful. He twisted his body and pushed me down onto the bed, him hovering over me, my legs connected with his hips, my hands around his neck. A moment of silence broke out before a powerful laugh escaping my lips. I removed my hands from his neck and tried controlling my drunken laughter. What's so funny? He chuckles. I tried to say, but began laughing more confidently. I cleared my throat with a few chuckles, attempting to speak. I had this goddamn SD card. I shoved my hand up my shirt and sliding it beneath the bra, fetching the small device. Pulling it out, I held it up to him. In my bra ever since the first day we met. I began to laugh. This time it seemed funnier to me. Holding my stomach, I squirmed underneath him. Did you really? Brian took the thing from my hands, examining it. I was going to destroy it, but I figured I'd give it to you. I don't care anymore. I sighed, slurring over my words. I'd completely forgotten about this. Brian mumbled, laughing along with me. It's so stupid. I shook my head. He then threw the SD card beside us, looking at it land, then looking back at Brian, retracting my arms around his neck. Leaning down, he kissed me softly. You think we're going to remember this in the morning? I asked him between movements. Probably not. He answers, kissing my cheek, then moving down my neck. I tilted my head. Oh. We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused. Feeling the wetness and warmth of his tongue against my skin, he took my skin in between his teeth, not too hard, but enough to get a reaction out of me. He then began attacking the same spot. Assuming he had gotten bored of the act, he sat up, sliding his fingers to the hem of his shirt, pulling it over his head. Propping myself on my elbows, the mixed colors of motion from the television had caused a shadow over me, considering Brian was blocking the view. He paused, his chest heaving up and down quickly. The tension between us gives us short of breath. His eyes locked on mine. Gulping down the nervousness in my throat, I pulled my own shirt over my head, pulling it off and throwing it to the side of the bed, hearing the soft fabric hit the ground. The straps of my bra sliding off my shoulders due to the position I was in. Do you want to keep going? Brian asked, all hushed, cheeks flushing with a shade of rose. We can go to sleep if you want. I know it's late. Debating in my head, as much as my drunken self would have loved to relieve my stress by doing this, I knew deep down it would have been good. So, with my finger, I motioned him to lay down. As he did, I carefully placed my hands on his. I want to kiss a bit more, I mumbled against his lips before pulling him in. Hummed in pleasure. Releasing my hands from his face and reaching over for the remote, I gripped it, pressing the power off button. It was now pitch black, the deafening silence being replaced with skin against skin. His hands wrapped around me, pulling me into a tight hug. I rested my arms around him, kissing his cheek quickly before playing with his strands of hair, twirling it between my fingers. Your hair is so soft, I whispered, as if he was sleeping. I felt him laugh. Hearing this, I couldn't help but follow. I chuckled. You don't know how long I've just wanted to hold you like this, he mumbles, pulling the blankets from under us, the heat from the sheets overcoming us. Facing him as he laid down beside me, I wasn't sure if he could tell, but I smiled. I sighed, pushing myself against him, his body heat radiating. His hand snaked around my waist. He placed his head near mine. Good night, I mumbled. Good night. Time skip. The singing of birds interrupted my slumber. Slowly opening my eyes, only to have the beaming sun blind me. Groaning, I sat up. Feeling rather colder than usual, I hadn't bothered to realize I wasn't wearing a shirt. Quickly taking the blankets and covering my chest, I turned my head. No one is here? Crawling to the other side, leaning over, peering over the bed, there I saw my shirt, inside out and tangled next to empty bottles, half knocked over. Picking up the shirt, fixing it, and slipping it back on, I stepped out of bed, stretching. Entering the bathroom, I switched the light on. Taking the shower curtains in my hand, I shoved them away, revealing an empty bathtub. Huh, I muttered. Twirling around, I quickened my pace. Moving past the bottles on the ground, I opened the glass sliding door to the balcony. There stood Brian. He pivoted his head to meet my gaze. Morning, he says, his voice rather raspy. Morning, I responded, stepping beside him. You feel all right? Not nauseous or anything? He asked hesitantly. I shook my head. No, I feel fine. Really, you drank quite a lot last night, he mumbled, glancing down at me, a smile tugging on his lips. Don't tell me I drank all those bottles, I worriedly asked, scared for my liver. Oh no, I also drank, but you had like 6 or 7 of those tiny bottles. Those things are strong. I only drank like 3. He laughed. Oh, I'm sorry. I get so out of control when I drink. I try not to do it, but sometimes I can't help myself, you know? Furrowing my eyebrows, I leaned against the railing with him. It's all right, he mutters, then takes in a deep breath. Do you remember anything from last night? He asked, rather suspiciously, stuttering. I tried my best to remember. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm a little mad right now because I thought I was recording, but I guess I wasn't, and I'm mad. I'm mad. Anyways, oof, my excitement is getting ahead of me, and I just ruined. Y'all would understand. Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna say this. I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to ruin it for you guys. Tape 20. Well, I started. I'm not really sure. Of course, I remember taking a shower and putting the TV on. But anything past that? It all seemed blurry. Closing my eyes softly, I focused, tracing back whatever memories that stayed. When Brian had chuckled, I let his fingers slightly touch my neck, opening my eyes swiftly, jumping back a bit. What? I asked, holding my neck, feeling if there was anything. When I applied pressure to a certain spot, a bit of pain appeared. Did I hurt my neck last night? I asked, feeling the other side, the same pain. Brian laughed, bewildered and maybe a little bit embarrassed. I shoved him slightly. What? Nothing, He pauses, then mumbles the rest of his sentence. Have hickeys on your neck? My body was tense. Did I hear him right? I stopped. Then suddenly remembering the feeling of his lips on my skin, my face flushing up with the soft peach colors. When the memory of me climbing onto his lap peered into my head, my fingers gripped the railing tightly, my body heating up, not out of embarrassment. I wasn't sure why. Just the thought of having him touch me like that gave me butterflies. I remember, I mumbled. You also gave me something, he says, smiling, attention still at the sky above us. Please don't say my virginity. Please don't say my virginity. Please don't say my virginity. Who knows what else we did? What is it? I cautiously asked, nervousness spreading. I feel like I could burst right now. This. He holds out his hand, and between his fingers, the SD card. Shoving my hands into my bra, moving around, he was right. I did give that to him. I was eventually going to destroy it. My drunken self probably thought it was such a good idea to expose myself. I'm an idiot. Oh, I said, chuckling, the morning breeze shifting Brian's hair with the wind. The soft, dark brown curls flowing lightly. Although his face was flushed, his expression remained calm, a few freckles randomly placed on his cheeks. His eyes shining from the sun, they shifted to me. You can throw it, he says, nudging it towards me. Really? I said, wasn't completely sure if he was joking or not. If it was an actual offer, I'd love to destroy it. Yeah, I don't need it. I never did. He explained, carefully retracting it from his fingers. I held it on my own. Stepping back and with a smile on my face, I held my arm back and threw the piece of junk as far as I could. With it not being that heavy, it didn't go far, but at least it's away. Did that feel good? It felt amazing. Happiness rising in my chest. Sighing in satisfaction, the feeling of relief spread throughout my body. My mind, a bit clearer than it was before. At least one of my worries are gone. A moment of silence struck us before I broke it. Do you think we're ever going to get found by them? When he hummed before speaking, I assumed he was thinking. Nah, we're too good to be caught. He joked, chuckling. I pushed him, shaking my head. I'm serious, I say. I was, but hearing him joke around so much made me feel better about the situation. Okay. If they find us, which they won't, but anyway, then obviously I'd do everything in my power to make sure you escape. Even if it means I won't. He explained, voice staying the same pitch. However, they won't catch us. I'll make sure of it, so don't worry. He adds, placing his arm over my shoulder and pulling me closer to him. Do you trust me? The rather nonplussed question made me think. I wasn't obviously sure about my feelings about him just yet, but maybe today it's a good day to sit down and reflect. Not wanting to give him a sense of me still trying to run away, I responded, yes. His supple fingers pushing my face towards his, I faced him, his head leaning to mine, lips softly touching mine. Enjoying the delicate affection, I leaned into him. I have to admit, it was rather cute. My body didn't go tense like I expected it to. It felt natural. Like we had done this many times before. I mean, technically, last night we did, but that doesn't count. We were drunk. He moved back, eyes locking onto mine, hand still holding my face. It's as if this is just what I needed. His hand then suddenly dug into my hair, moving it all around, ruffling it. You're so cute. He compliments, slightly annoyed with his childish action. I shoved his hand away. Don't ruin my hair, I said, attempting to run my fingers through the new knots he made. You act like a child sometimes, I murmured, wincing at the tugging of my hair. You love it, he says. At times I did. It certainly lightens up the mood, but he needs to know when it's appropriate and when it's not. Slow clapping was heard from behind us. We both turned around quickly, hearts pacing rapidly, afraid we'd been found. Hobo stood in the doorway, having long pauses in between his claps. Now that was romantic, was it not? He flashes a smile, seeing Brian's body release tension. I figured we were okay. Jesus, man, you never fail to scare me. Brian laughs. Yeah, it's what I do. Just figured I'd check up. Hobo says, shrugging his shoulders. I appreciate it, but I think I'm okay. Brian reassures, furrowing his eyebrows. Not on you, her. He points to me, confused. Confused, I nervously chuckle. I don't care about you. He jokes. Brian just rolls his eyes, smiling wide. I was gonna visit last night, but, He motions to my neck, forgetting I had those marks on them. I quickly covered them, puffing my cheeks. Yeah, that. You guys are gross, by the way. He mutters, scratching his face, a slight pink shade appearing in his cheeks. So are you, official now? Considering last night. Brian and I had looked at each other at that question. Not sure how to respond, but he shrugged and said, "That's your call." "I guess we are," I said to Hobo. Then he smirked and said, "Well, at least I know who has the pants in the relationship." Snickering at his own joke, Brian huffs. "And cut!" The director yelled. Sighing in relief, I chuckled. Not to hate David, but that was the ending? I asked, allowing the woman to come over and begin to rub the makeup from my neck. You know, I was expecting a really bad ending. Like, someone dies or something. I admitted. Even Brian agreed. I found it funny how our actual names were the characters as well. Bruh, this is what I was talking about. Like, bruh, this whole damn thing was a whole movie the whole time. It wasn't... What a plot twist. Oh my goodness. Now I'm not as excited because I had to reread this. Stupid recording. How dare they? She's right. Even I was expecting that, he says, taking a sip from a water bottle. "You guys are expecting too much from me," David yells, chuckling. Script in hand, now closed. Considering we had just finished the movie last scenes. "You guys are great actors. We had barely had any bloopers at all," Sydney announced. She was one of the camera people. My eyes noticed the red flashes of her small camera in her hands. Leaning forward, I shoved my face near it. "Is it recording?" I asked. I knew she was just using this for behind the scenes, but I liked to joke around with her about it. Her green eyes flashing with concern for her device, I huffed harder into the screen, blocking it with a blur. "Why? I told you to stop doing that," she laughed, shoving my head away. "Come on, it's funny." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the whole thing of Is a Recording, Hoodie X listener. Did I expect this to finish? Yeah, I kind of did. I was anticipating for it. And if you guys want to read the lemon version of the story, it's like right under tape 20. I'm not gonna read that, but it's the whole that's the lemon. That's where the lemon's gonna be at. If they continued on and not stopped, well, that's where they would go, y'all. I read it. It's pretty good. I suggest y'all read it if y'all of age. And yeah, let me guys know what you think about this fan fiction. Did you guys enjoy it? If you have some criticism about it, let me know. As long as you're nice about it and be respectful about it, then I'll be fine with it. And let me know what other books I should read in the next futuristic video. Also, y'all can't tell me y'all were expecting that plot twist, because I thought someone was gonna die. I thought something was gonna happen, but I didn't expect the whole movie scene. And cut. Like, I was surprised, bro. Like, I was literally, like, the first time I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I was literally screaming on my phone, like, what? I was shocked, bro. I was, like, shocked. I'm still kind of shocked, you know, I'm like, whoa. That's kind of smart. That's kind of smart, because no one anticipates that, like, at all. And I'm here just like, wow. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. Like I said again, if you have any suggestions or anything like that for futuristic videos, you guys can let me know down in the comments down below. I'll keep an eye out for them. And let me know if you guys anticipated another ending other than this one. You can't say this one because I know none of you did. None of you. I know how y'all are. None of y'all expected that, unless y'all cheated and read the very last part. But it's alright. Just let me know what you guys thought was gonna happen. Like, did you think she was gonna die, or we were gonna die? That's what I thought too. Don't worry, you aren't the only one. You aren't the only one with a slow brain. Anyways, yo girls gotta go. I see y'all in a futuristic video of most likely a new fanfiction. New polls will be posted very soon, I hope, because I have some pretty good books I would like for us to read. It all depends on you guys though. But anyways, gotta go. Bye and peace.